My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good, the Bad, and the Hungy AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines, and we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on The Good, the Bad, and the Hungy every week on the Voices of Wrestling Network.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Here we go! Baby, kiss me like a love star. 소란 너무 가오리. Whoa, 君へ片思い涙の失恋も Give me two, give me five, give me double shadows.
You're listening to the Emerald Flow Show on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
Welcome to episode 68 of the Emerald Flow Show. We're a podcast on the Voice of Wrestling Podcast Network. You can follow us on X at Emerald Flow Show, and we're on all of your favorite podcast apps. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review, and you can go to the voicesofwrestling.com/donate to donate to the show if you're feeling generous. I'm Gerard here along with Paul, and Paul, we're back already.
Yeah, I think this is like the fastest turnaround we've ever had.
Definitely up there. Except we once recorded an emergency thing we once tacked on to an end of an episode.
Oh, yeah.
We correctly surmised that Keiji Muto's injury was going to force his retirement.
Yes. And wasn't that also the one? Oh, no, wait. Right. There was the one with Nosawa where we also thought about doing an emergency recording, and then we just renamed the podcast into Nosawa was still the booker when we recorded this.
Yes. So to start off, because we have a lot of big shows to go over, but Paul, we have a live report from you.
Yes. So on Sunday, I went to GWF Summer Smash show here in beautiful Berlin, and there Taishi Ozawa had another match against Metehan, formerly known as Lucky Kid. So again, former champion of the promotion as well. So just like the other, like he had a match in a tournament as well, the Light Heavyweight Cup, but then otherwise he also had a match with Bad Bones before he tragically passed away. But again, that's another former champion of the promotion, and now he beat Metehan as well. So he now has beaten 2 former champions of the promotion, so it really seems like they're actually giving him a proper push. He is also incredibly over with the crowd as well. Again, he was up against a guy that like started off in that promotion and went to WWE and all of that, and Taishi Ozawa was the guy that was like, he was way more over than Metehan was. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, that crowd loves him now. So he is definitely coming last, and I'm curious to see, because again, they're giving him some very big wins. So I wouldn't be shocked if they're actually building up to giving him a title shot for like their like world championship, and not just a secondary title.
Yeah. So I was going to ask. So you think that he's got He's not leaving yet anytime soon, you don't think?
No, it doesn't look like he's leaving. I mean, wouldn't make any sense either, right? Like the N1 is coming up. Like, what are they? Like, he's not in that tournament. Like, there's no reason for him to leave for now. I would probably say I think we could maybe expect him back for like January, but I don't think it makes any sense for him to leave before then. And yeah, I think he's still, because they haven't even announced that he is getting a title shot, and they have like a bunch of other title matches lined up, but they're very clearly building him up for something, because they wouldn't be giving him these kinds of like level of wins otherwise. And but he is, like I said, he hasn't changed up his look yet at all. Like, he's still in the black trunks and everything, so he's sticking with that. So, you know, like sometimes guys kind of like start kind of experimenting more with the looks on Excursion, like Yuichi or Yoshiki Inamura, or whatever he's called these days, did. So really, like, the only thing he's changed up is the mustache, and then otherwise he's definitely like building up his moveset and everything, and like his athleticism is off the charts. So I'm excited. I'm definitely getting more and more excited about what he will do when he's coming back to Japan.
Well, that's a good. How over is he?
Like, very, very over. Like, he was one of the most over guys on the show, I would say. Like, he got constant chants from like around well, I wouldn't call it, but from around the building and everything. So no, crowd's definitely on the side, and like it's been growing through every match as well. Because obviously, like, when he made his debut against Bad Bones, he didn't get a whole lot except from me. But now, like throughout all of his matches, it's built up more and more, and he's getting more over and over, more and more. So
yeah,
definitely very encouraging. And he seems to be very natural at getting that crowd connection, which is a good sign.
Well, that is a very good sign. So we move on to something I forgot to watch, so we could talk about in the last episode, but we're back. So Fortune Dream 9, which happened all the way back on June 12th, but it obviously aired much later. I watched the top 3 matches, although this is only a 5-match show plus a talk battle with Kenta Kobashi that was like half an hour long. So I start off with Bravery Dream. Go Shiozaki defeated Soda Manji in 13:38 with a lariat. I mean, I thought this was pretty good for the sort of spot they got in and everything like that. I mean, you could tell, especially Go was not looking to go balls out here. But, I mean, it was still pretty good. But I think these guys could have an amazing match if given the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, obviously now we've gotten to the stage of Go's career where he can still go, but he's definitely picking his spots now. And yeah, I also agree it was a good match. I had maybe like slightly higher expectations than what it actually ended up being.
Yeah, I did too a bit, yeah.
Yeah, but it's very clear that Go is basically like, for this kind of match now, you're gonna get a certain level of effort, and then for like proper big stuff, you're gonna get like proper Go. Like, I think at this point we kind of have, like, not quite as bad as Marufuji, but I think we kind of have to move him over into that category now, where like he will still show up for big spots, and then for a lot of other stuff, he will take it a lot easier.
Yeah. But speaking of people working hard, we had Inheritance Dream, a rare Meiko Satomura appearance and wrestling. She barely wrestles at all now. And Takumi Aroha defeated Team 200 kilogram, Chihiro Hashimoto, and Yu in 1607 with a flying knee kick from Aroha on Yu. I mean, this was just a great match.
Yeah, no, this was exactly what you wanted of these.
I guess you could say Meiko looks like she's slowing down a bit too. But, you know, not like super like noticeable, but there's definitely something there. But yeah, I mean, this was otherwise.
I mean, it might also legitimately be ring rust because she just never wrestles anymore.
Yeah, that's also it too.
But yeah, no, this was great. Again, it's always a delight to see Meiko Satomura. I also love that, like, because we got it off of Poor Love, that they like marked her as Sendai Girls when you know she's WWE, but whatever. But yeah, no, great match. I mean, all 4 of these are great. So like going in, I was like, when I was looking over the card, I actually already had this pegged as like, oh, this is probably going to be the second best match on the show. And I would say it actually ended up being the best match on the show.
I agree. It absolutely was the best match on the show. I only watched the top 3, but I'm willing to bet it was better than matches.
Yeah, no, like the first 2 weren't bad, but yeah, nowhere near like this kind of level.
Yeah. And then in the main event, Fortune Dream, Yuma Aoyagi, Hayato Tamura, and Titus Alexander defeated Yuma Anzai, El Lindaman, and Sugataka Sato in 14:23 when Aoyagi pinned Sato with the Fool. This match actually went like not as long as I thought it would.
No.
Don't Sports and Dream like main events go like 20 minutes, if not like sometimes a 30-minute draw.
Yeah, like I was surprised when it was this short. Like I was like, oh, he hit the Fool on Sato? Huh, that's quick. I guess maybe that gets broken up, and then nope, the match just ended there.
Yeah. I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
Not great. I thought that like Titus was like the hardest worker in this match.
Oh yeah, he definitely was motivated. You saw it as well when he came out.
Yeah.
Like he was like, okay, yeah, this is like this is a show run by Kenta Kobashi. He definitely was up for it. And yeah, some of the other ones, I feel like some of the other ones went a little bit of like lower effort as well.
Well,
especially Lindemann didn't.
Lindemann just like screamed a lot and didn't.
Yeah.
And
Sato is also he's not a bad worker, but he's also very clearly like a level below these others. The other 5 basically. Maybe not Lindemann these days, so at least below Aoyagi, Tamura, Titus, and Anzai.
I would say Anzai was the second hardest worker in this match, probably.
Yeah, that's actually. I mean, I don't think, but that's like a singles match I would want to see. If Kenta Kobashi can arrange that one, Titus versus Yuma Anzai, I'll absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So, it was. I'm not sure this was the best Fortune Dream ever by any means. Actually,
no, it wasn't. It wasn't a bad show, but just when I looked over the card, I was like, oh, this has a potential to be like a amazing show, and it ended up being okay.
It's interesting because I feel like those past Fortune Dreams had like a lot more older guys on them.
Yeah.
And that's the like the main event last year was Ayato Yoshida, Hayato Tamura, and Tetsuya Endo versus T-Hawk, Takuya Nomura, and Yuma Aoyagi. I'm clear that Kobashi likes Aoyagi. They went to a 30-minute time limit draw.
Yeah, that sounds a lot more like a main event for these kind of shows. But it definitely seems like a bit of a like generational change in a way as well with the main event there, right? Because it's not like last year's main event was like old, but it's definitely these are like based like the next generation essentially. And well, except for
sure. Yeah, and
although,
guys like
oh no, wait, he's also still 29. I keep forgetting that he's still super young. Because another one of those where he's 29 and it feels like he's been around for 20 years.
Yeah, and I was like Yuji Okabayashi was like a guy that was and he's gone, and I don't know if it was something else going on, but like this had a lot less Big Japan guys. Just I think Sakamoto.
Yeah, but I mean it's also Yuya I guess is a guy you could get for these.
Yeah,
but there also isn't really that much left in Big Japan. Takuya really.
Yeah, so.
Not that Yuki Ishikawa is also retiring, so that's another big hit for them.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I would assume though. I mean, Kobashi will probably still be able to command talent wanting to. So I don't think it's going anywhere or anything like that. But it was just...
it drew a decent number as well. So.
Oh yeah, 1324. That's good. So then we move on to the big show that lots of people are talking about. Noah Destination 2024 on Bima paper. In front of 4,196 fans at the Nippon Budokan. Paul, what do you think of that number?
I was a little bit disappointed. I mean, I would have maybe hoped a little bit more. It didn't look bad. I will say that. It looked pretty decent, the crowd. Like the floor was definitely full. So it wasn't like a weird case like they had last year when they had that show. I don't remember which arena it was in, where basically the floor was empty and everyone was just sitting in the upper rows. So like they definitely at least sold like the premium tickets. I mean, obviously you can't really compare this to like something like the Muta retirement show, right? Because that's like special circumstances, but it's still like 2,000 people below what like, for example, like the All Together shows were drawing, which weren't exactly stacked cards. So were counted as disappointments as well. But I will say at least that it is above some of the other Budokan shows that they have had. So yeah, bit of a mixed bag.
Well, yeah, I mean the New Year's show was at Ariake Arena, but it drew 5,135.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, Not many companies these days can draw 4,000 people other than New Japan,
Yeah.
but it's still, I don't know, super great, especially given we had quote unquote a dream match on this show.
AJ's first
but
match in like what, 6 years in Japan?
8 years.
8 years, geez, yeah. So
Unless maybe in 2019 at WWE
whole show, yeah.
or something like that. So we start off with the show in a 3-way tag match. Alejandro and Crystal Ball defeated Ninja Mac and Junta Miyawaki and Hajime Ohara and Super Crazy in 8:48 with a Sky Twister press from Alejandro on Crazy. This is a mostly forgettable, perfectly acceptable opening match.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, it really was just there to establish, like, well, I don't want to say the brothers anymore, so I'm just going to say Alejandro and Cristobal as the next challengers for the junior tag titles.
The next up, we had Manabu Soya return match. Masakita Miya, Manabu Soya, Daiki Inaba defeated Takashi Sugera, Kazuyu, Shuhei Taniguchi. 9 minutes and 55 seconds with a jumping DDT from Soya on Taniguchi. Now, Paul, Soya looks like $1 million.
Oh God, yes! Holy shit! It's time to push Manabu Soya again.
He is. I've never seen him in shape like this in his entire career.
Yeah, where has this Soya been for like the last 15 years?
He is ripped. Yeah. Well, I mean, he's serious now. I don't know. Maybe he thinks he can actually get that big push.
Yeah, but he got a big push on Wrestle 1 and we didn't get like this guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm all in favor of it. I'm just a little bit frustrated where I'm like, so what you mean to tell me is that we could have gotten this guy all this time instead of the slightly underwhelming Manabu Soya that we've always gotten for a long time previously. So, but hey, look, I'll take it. Now he's great now, and he's been great now for like because he had an amazing 2023 as well. So
yes, I mean he is. He has been a. He's just a late bloomer, is what I was.
Yeah.
And
that might just be it.
It might just be it. Okay, I gotta pause for just 1 second.
No problem.
Okay, we're just back after a quick delay. I had to run and do something. But we were just talking about how Soya is a late bloomer, and there's a lot of wrestlers like that, especially in Japan. Yeah. I think that there's definitely
I mean, yeah. Actually, the more I think about it, I mean, because we're like always praising Go Shiozaki, but basically because we started the podcast when Go Shiozaki had hit his like late bloomer stage. I feel like if we had started this podcast 10 years ago, like we would be talking about Go Shiozaki very differently.
Well, it's funny because I think. That's a little different because, I mean, Go was always sort of like, well, Go was pegged for big things off the bat. And I would also argue that Go was also like a great wrestler in ways that Soya only has recently become. That was something that Go had for a long time. There's other factors with Go also at play. Sure. I'm trying to think, I was thinking about this yesterday and I had a name, but I'm like, now I can't remember who that was, but...
Okay, no, because I'm currently trying to think of names as well.
You don't start of like moving up the card until your 30s,
or
something like that, right? When you really start to stand out.
Yoshiki Inamura.
Yeah. Or even Shuhei Taniguchi a little bit, although he never got a push to commensurate with.
Yeah.
I suppose that ship had already sailed, and they weren't going to bother.
Taichi actually is a decent. Like he never got to like super high level. But he was like not very good. Like junior Taichi was not a great worker, and then he like moved up to heavyweight and like found his motivation somewhere and just became a legit great worker.
Yep, no, absolutely. Taichi would fall into that. So, I mean, yeah, the match is exactly what it needs to be. Solid like 6-man action, and then Soya just gets the win. They've sort of gotten rid of the returning guy does the job thing in Japan recently. I mean, that doesn't really happen that much.
No, I mean, I can kind of get it because, I mean, in general, like stuff in Japan has sped up a bit, which I feel was necessary as well.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later as well. Maybe too fast, but we'll see what you think about that. And so next up, Shuji Kondo, Eita, and Akira defeated Yoshinari Ogawa, Ryohei Oiwa, and Yu Owada in 12 minutes with Imperial Uno from Eita on Owada. Again, another great 6-man, very solid, like enjoyable 6-man with Akira.
Yep. I mean, if this is what they want to bring him in for, keep doing that because he's kind of been a weird revelation so far in 2024, which is like the last thing I expected to happen.
Yes. I mean, look, everybody else in this match is pretty good. Oiwa's got some new gear, and like Owada obviously tried to. And I feel like Oi was in a bit of a holding pattern, but we can discuss what's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
And then next match, Keno defeated Yuji Nagata in 12 minutes and 5 seconds with the Cohen Rin, which is his like moonsault. I mean, I really like this match a lot.
Oh yeah, this was
exactly what you thought it would be. They kicked each other really hard, and then they battled over submission. And Nagata showed some fighting spirits. Keno even had to pull out his special finisher to end the match and everything like that. I feel like this match isn't getting enough talked about too. I thought it was one of the best on the show.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like it gets some play, but I think because there were probably a lot of people that only like it kind of got overshadowed by like everything that happened afterwards.
Yes.
Because there's so much that happened in all of the like matches after that that this kind of gets forgotten a little. But I do admire Nagata's just willingness to just take crazy bumps as well whenever he's like doing a big singles match.
Mm-hmm.
And also taking Keno's super finisher, because that also looks like it sucks to take. Because there's no real way for Keno to just not just crush your sternum with that.
Yeah, exactly. I think Nagata still looks good at 55 now. So, another feather in his cap once again in 2024, keeping up the year of great matches, at least one a year.
Maybe we need to redo that, because we remember like a few years ago we had that like best wrestler over 50 list that we did at like VOW in general, because we did the 30 under 30. So maybe it's time to like, maybe not the 50 over 50, because that would be a lot, but to have some sort of like top 10 over 50 wrestlers or something.
Or like, what would you draw it at, 50 or 45 plus?
You could actually do 55 plus, right? Because there's a lot of people.
I know that like obviously much has been said about wrestlers lasting longer and everything, but 45 really is a line that where things really do accelerate, even if you look like you were still 21 years old when you were 41. Like Tanahashi, right?
Yeah, he's done.
But at the same time, I think AJ Styles is like almost the same age as him, maybe off by a year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, to be fair, but AJ also because Tanahashi has also missed the boat on like changing up his style, whereas AJ just was like, I'm gonna get on steroids and become a power guy now.
Yes, that's true. So we go to the GLG final. Jake Lee, Yohei Tadasuke defeated Jack Morris, Anthony Green, and LJ Cleary in 13:44 with the FBS from Lee on Cleary. Paul, I admit at the beginning of the match when it looked like Jack was having issues with Jake, I thought this was going to turn around and the Gaijin were going to win, but that's actually not how it turned out. I mean, this is a solid match. These guys have worked extensively with each other for like the last year. So, I mean, I thought it was a very good, solid match, but really this was all about the build up to the after the match where Gato came out.
And this is my dog for real.
And gave Jake a War Dogs shirt. And then Jake chokeslammed Jack Morris, and everybody else in GLG just looked at him. They were shocked and angry and sad. And then Jake went off with Gato. And Paul, what do you think? Do you think that Noah has allowed themselves to look like punks and Jake is leaving the company? Have they been cucked by New Japan again?
They might have been. I'm still a little split on it. Because like a bunch of Noah people also keep saying, oh yeah, we'll get our revenge on you eventually.
Yeah.
But that could also just be them trying to like angling for like a match, like, I don't know, whenever down the line that isn't actually something that is planned at the moment. Because he has been removed from the roster on the Noah website.
That doesn't mean anything because it's such an obvious angle of what they're doing. So I don't buy into that.
Because on the other hand, he also hasn't been added to the New Japan roster. So
the New Japan website is having.
No. I went to the Japanese one, not to the one that something happened to it that we don't know about, but have suspicions that I'm not going to say no.
Okay. So he's still not on that website. We'll see. I can't believe he's falling up like this.
Yeah, he is the master of falling upwards. Genuinely amazing.
If he is going to New Japan, well, I guess like you can make an argument about why they could.
Yeah, they need
Although-
someone to like put over the younger guys and all of that.
Yeah. So it sort of makes sense from that. But it's just like, look, Jake can't hang with what New Japan should be and the sort of the bar that they have set. Although it
Yeah.
looks like they've sort of like obviously are letting that bar slip, given that Naito's pretty washed, to be completely honest. And so the question is like, are you just gonna try to plow through with all of these colorful characters, or attempt for some of these guys to become more colorful characters, or are you going to try to like maintain that sort of I don't know reputation of what your main events look like in the ring? So I don't know, but
I
Jake
mean,
is not it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's exactly the same what Noah used him for, right? Which is a stopgap solution, which is what Jake was really when they brought him in, because they're like, we kind of fucked up our like talent development for a couple of years, so now we don't have anyone, and we want to take some time to rebuild Kaito, so we need to plug someone in here, but Takashi Segura doesn't want to do it, I guess. So let's go. Jake Lee is leaving All Japan. Sure, why not? Let's see what happens.
So well, see, here's the thing. Do you envision much of a push for Jake beyond October?
Did you see my G1 predictions that I put in the Slack?
No, I didn't actually.
Well, to be fair, okay. So basically, I didn't want to figure out the math on how to get to the most cursed final we could get to. So I just had Jake and David Finlay win their blocks unbeaten. And then basically in the semifinals, or basically in the Block A finals, I have Jake beating Shota Umino. In the Block B finals, David Finlay beats Konosuke Takeshita. And then in the finals, Jake beats David Finlay.
I appreciate your moxie on this one.
I do think there is actually, like, okay, maybe not that exact final, but I do think there is a chance that Jake actually does pretty well in the G1. I think this might be a really good indicator if he has actually jumped or not. Because if he just is like in the middle of the block or whatever, then I think he's just going back to Noah. Right. Because why else bring in this guy and then he's just kind of a non-factor in the tournament. Whereas
I was going to say in my G1 pick'em, again, you could do that at sportofprowrestling.com. I had Jake beating Naito and like finishing just below the 3 that go on. Because I was like, well, I don't know. They haven't really been putting the outsiders in the other round. I did this pick'em before this show and everything like that. So
I saw a bunch of people going like, I need to redo my picks.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't see. Okay, so I think Jake will beat Naito, but if Jake gets a shot,
yes.
Well, that's the thing you're talking about. Okay, Jake's coming in to put in some younger talent. He's gonna beat Naito. He's gonna like maybe lose to Naito in like September, October for your placeholder filler IWGP World Title defense. And then what does he do? I don't see much.
Well, shake Naito's hand and join LLJ.
Is he gonna face like what? He's gonna face Ren Narita or like Yuya Uemura or someone at like in a singles match at like Wrestle Kingdom or something? Like I just don't know what they're gonna do with him afterward.
Yeah, whereas he has matches that they could do with him and Noah. Like him and Morris, for example, would be like a biggish thing. Like that would be like a genuine like big scalp for like Morris to take at the New Year's show. Especially if you remember, that's where Jake made his debut originally.
Oh yes, that's true. Yep.
That was after the match with Morris, right? And that was like that's how like that whole thing kicked off. So like that would actually be something to bring that like 2-year story, like basically to like complete the circle there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stuff like that. Why it's like I'm like I don't know if he's jumped under. I'm not particularly confident with that one way or the other. So
yeah, I mean the fact that they put him in the War Dogs though is would be a bit more of a like indicator that he has actually jumped.
Yeah, for sure. Well, what's New Japan? I mean, sort of what's Noah getting out of this? I mean, a lot of the angle to happen on their show.
Yeah. And again, the angle doesn't make Noah look good because it's Jake just like, I'm out of this dump, see ya. And if he just comes slinking back after like not doing a whole lot in New Japan, then like, I don't know, that doesn't look great for Noah either to like pick up this guy that was cast off by New Japan in like 2 months.
Yep, for sure.
But on the
And
positive
then-
side, that means he's not in the N1, and so we're free of him for now. I know we said that last when he left All Japan, and then immediately he teleported behind us. But I think at least for the G1, we're not gonna have to talk about him unless you want to do a let's update Jake Lee's progression through the G1 segment.
I don't know how much I'll keep on top of that, but I might watch the just. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
I might. Okay, so what it might be a case of watch the first couple matches, and if it's not doing top.
I'm definitely skipping Lee versus Sonata.
Oh God, no! You got to watch that because that's like the what could really happen?
Also the All Japan alumni match. Actually, I do have to watch it. God damn it.
And then next up, World Heavyweight title. Go Shiozaki defeated Akitoshi Saito in 15 minutes with the Go on Lariat. Saito falls on his 4th defense, and Go is now the 34th World Heavyweight Champion of 0-1. This match was very similar to the 30-minute draw they had, although obviously more compact. Look, obviously Saito is showing his age, but these guys really do hit each other really hard. And so I will say the thing I said like that. I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it more than the time limit draw.
Well, yeah.
Because it was shorter. And it had a definitive finish. So, yeah, like I said, I still wasn't super into the match, but I definitely enjoyed it more. And I think also in hindsight, I probably like it more because of like Saito retiring afterwards, which I think that actually was that was the ideal way for him to go out.
Or announcing his retirement.
Yes, which we still don't know if that actually means he's completely retired now, or if
he's still scheduled for a show that we're going to talk about.
Oh, okay. Then they're probably going to do like a retirement. Like there will probably be like a limit break, Akitoshi Saito bye-bye or whatever show.
Yeah. Anyway, and it felt like an emotional moment between two friends, two guys that have been with the company for a very long time and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see what Go does with this.
Yeah. Like it's also who he's facing. Like, is he going to like slum it up with the like 0-1 guys, or is he going to like defend it against some Noah guys? So yeah, I'm interested what they're going to do with him now.
Yeah, I would assume he eventually drops it to Tanaka, right?
Yeah, because I don't know. Anyone else of them beating him would feel weird.
I could see Go holding this all the way to New Year's Day 0-1.
Yeah, and you do like the match of Tanaka there. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Assuming they're still doing a Korakuen Hall on New Year's next.
Well,
I don't know.
They didn't do a Korakuen at New Year's. They're doing the Budokan show, and then the Korakuen show is like in the middle of the month.
Oh, I'm talking about for
the 0-1. Yeah. See, but that would mean that Go isn't on the Budokan show unless he's doing double duty, which I don't think he would be willing to do.
They don't. Well, depending on what that card is.
Yeah. Would be weird though, because he literally made it his whole gimmick to like take Noah back to Budokan. And then he's not on a Noah Budokan show.
Yeah. The start time for Budokan has not been announced. I mean, if
he could make it, yeah.
If they got that 11:30 spot on New Year's Day.
Yeah, which they normally have. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like the Budokan will probably start at like, I don't know, p.m.
Yeah.
Probably 3 or 4.
Let me tell you, as someone that did that like the next day, basically on that already was tough, basically, because I went to the All Japan Korakuen and then Ariake show, and I was very tired by the end of the Ariake show.
Yeah. And then next up for the GHC national title, Uka Sasaki defeated Hayata in 12 minutes and 5 seconds by referee stop with like a choke sweeper hold.
If only it had been Hayato.
So Hayata did not make a successful defense of this title, which I was like, I don't know, like because like of how protected Hayata is, I thought that he might actually win here, but I do think this was the correct choice. I mean, Sasaki, as Mark Pickering noted on commentary in this match several times, this is only his 47th professional wrestling match. I thought there was some good mat work here, but then not much else. Although I saw some people complaining about the finish, but I thought the finish was fine. I mean, like he's an MMA fighter. You want him to knock out people quickly.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I thought the finish was the best part of the match. I didn't really like the match all that well otherwise.
Yeah.
I thought this should have been a squash. I thought this should have been like basically you come in, the match starts, and you straight go for this where he just like chokes out Hayata just instantly and just wins the title.
Okay, yeah. I think
Because
that
nothing, like, I don't think Ulka really looked super good here otherwise. Because there's not a lot you can do with a guy like Hayata.
Yeah.
Like, he's too green for that, and Hayata is just not very good. So I thought, like, the right call would have been to just make Ulka look like an absolute killer, but just basically just taking this guy out immediately, and then you have, like, a big shocker at least. But at least they did the right decision on who wins.
Yeah. I would say that they need to be careful about how they book this title right now.
Yeah.
Because he's still green.
Yeah. You need to put him in there with guys that, like, are more experienced than him that will make him look good. Like, guys like Segura.
But at the same time, it's time for this guy.
Yeah.
You got to go run with him.
Yeah. Just throw it at the wall, see if it sticks. If not, I mean, you don't actually lose all that much. If it works, that's great.
I see that he's been announced for those Noah UK shows.
Yes, he will be announcing.
Wait, he's not going to wrestle?
No, I do think he will be wrestling. They just wrote on this post, for some reason on his announcement post that said Ulka Sasaki will be announcing. So, I don't know. I assumed they had one prepared for G-Man, where they say he will be announcing, and for some reason they put, like, Ulka Sasaki. Like, I don't know. I think there was just a weird mix-up there with the graphics department. I don't think he will be the ring announcer for these. That would be very weird.
Well, to me, him going to the UK to wrestle, I think that's a sign that he wants to. He's in. You know, so it's just a matter of sort of protecting him in the booker. He could get reps.
I hope he comes back for October as well, because that's the weird part of this whole, like, Noah UK tour, right? It's like very soon after All In, and then Noah basically comes straight back to Europe like a month later to do the joint show with Progress at the WXW Tag Festival. Yeah.
So next up, GHC Junior Heavyweight title. Amatsuka defeated Daga in 1621 with the modified cruise. So my God, this was Daga made 7 successful defenses of the title before falling here, which I didn't realize. I was like, it's like 4, maybe even damn.
No, he had a pretty lengthy reign.
Yeah. So I thought this was like not starting off well, but then I thought it got real good.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it ended very strongly with a great closing stretch.
Yeah. No, I
and
thought
of course,
it was
that's like
very slow.
Amatsuka, all he can do. You know, that's all on him.
Oh yeah, no. Like Amatsuka, like, worked his ass off here. He's all, like, it was the 100% right decision to put that title back on him, because, like, he is the best junior that they have.
Yep.
Well, best singles junior.
Singles. So that's a good sign. We're back. Daga, do you think he hangs around?
I think at this point I would be fine with that. I mean, otherwise, if he doesn't, then Stinger just kind of, like, dies a really slow death, because then it's like only Ogawa. So,
well, you know, the thing is, like, that's par for the course among Noah juniors, right?
Yeah. I mean, we didn't talk about it after the Hayata match, but we're getting a Rattels reunion. Everybody cheer.
Oh, that's right. They took Hayata to the back. Now, I gotta say, Yohei and Tadasuke are much better wrestlers than, you know, back in the day when Rattels was at its peak.
Yes. No, they absolutely are. But then why would you put this anchor around their necks?
Well, maybe because they could carry him. I mean, if you look at all of some of the, well, I mean, Hayata and Ogawa isn't a bad pairing in some ways, but I feel like they could at least carry his ass.
Yeah. Okay, so
I don't know. I'm just not.
Tadasuke has never turned on Stinger, so we know what happens here. Then it's like maybe in the distant future, or maybe like on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, I'm sure this will end in some sort of some turning.
Or Hayata turns on Rattels again to rejoin Stinger to join back up with Eita.
That could
and Ogawa. Because this never ends, ever.
So I don't know. I don't have any strong thoughts on it. I think it could be perfectly. I don't know. Maybe it's because of how Yohei and Tadasuke have. If they were the same role, then yeah, I would.
See, that's the reason why I'm more afraid, because I'm afraid that, like, because they're putting Rattels back together, that means they're going to break that team up, and I don't want that team to break up.
Right.
But yeah, we'll see.
That's to say the least. It's sort of, I did not expect that reunion, but I guess I should have thought it was going to come at some.
They sell much.
Yeah. Next up, Lucha Libre special tag match. El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. and Galeno Del Mal, making his Noah debut, defeated Dragon Bane and Alpha Wolf in 13:43 with a Wagner driver from Wagner on Wolf. I mean, I think everybody expected this to be great, and it certainly delivered. One of the best matches on the show.
Yeah, just absolute insanity. Just some pretty crazy spots in there. Like that Alpha Wolf, like suicide dive where he just took out like multiple commentary desks, actually.
Yeah, and just lots of oohs and ahs for some of the stuff that Galeno would do and everything like that.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, that look on Yone's face after the Tope Suicida.
Yeah.
Where he was like, I'm sorry, what did this guy just do? Like, he was like, you know that, like, Yone hadn't actually seen Galeno de Mal yet, because he was genuinely, like, stunned when he saw that. He was like, what do you mean? There's no way this guy just did that.
So we'll get to the N1 participants later, but Galeno not in the N1, but he will be back in.
Yeah, and because he is also booked for Triple Mania. Like, I guess maybe that booking happened before, and that's why he's not in the N1. But yeah, he definitely needs to come in full time now. I really hope that this is like the start of him getting like signing a Noah contract as well, like his brother. I mean, it's also the other thing.
I was gonna say also maybe like Wagner's gonna be here beyond January.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, that's a good replacement for him. Like, where he's like, okay, guys, I'm leaving, but you can have my brother now.
Yeah, that could be the
and
case
also,
too, I suppose.
Wagner, I mean, like, not that Wagner's old, right? Like, he's still, like, prime career, but, like, the other three are disgustingly young. Like, Galeno being 22, and, like, Dragonbane and Alpha Wolf are, like, I think 23, 24, maybe.
Yeah.
And all of them being this good already is pretty scary how good these guys could become.
And Bane and Wolf seem to behave themselves now.
Yeah. I mean, it might be them because again, you have to remember how long ago was that match with where they like pissed off Shima. Like, they were literal teenagers then, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe just being like early 20s shitheads is better than like being like teenage shitheads.
Yeah, for sure. And then the special singles match. AJ Styles defeated Naomichi Marufuji in 25-27 with the Styles Clash. Paul, I'm shocked at the amount of people that doubted that these two could have a great match. Now, this isn't a match of the year or anything like that, but I went a nice little solid 4 stars. I enjoyed this match quite a bit, and I knew that they could deliver. This is actually sort of like what I thought they could deliver, and I enjoyed the match. Your thoughts?
No, I definitely enjoyed it as well. I didn't quite get to like 4-star level with it. It was like just a hair's breadth below that, essentially. Kind of a bit as well because they botched the finish a bit. Like, I think that's literally what like put it under for me, to be honest.
I didn't think the finish botch was so bad because to me it's like, okay, so Marufuji was countering and so he had to powerbomb him and then he Styles clashed.
Yeah, but he struggled mightily to like get him in that position. Like, and it wasn't because of like Marufuji's, like it was just AJ struggling to like do it. But yeah, no, like this was still really good. Like, AJ is like a very different wrestler now as well, right? Like a lot more slower, more methodical now, which he probably has to be as well, just based on the way his body probably is at this point, and also him carrying around a lot more mass than he used to.
Yeah.
Again, I think we keep saying this every single time before and after these Marufuji matches. Like, how many times do we have to go through the song and dance for people are doubting Marufuji before one of these matches, only for him to then deliver yet again?
Well, see,
like, that's just who he is now.
So if we had gone through a nice unbroken week of like, obviously the match with Ospreay was great.
Yeah.
It was the Ibushi match that sort of made people think again that he was toast.
Okay, but that wasn't his fault.
No,
that was all on Ibushi.
I know. I thought Marufuji.
I mean, prime Naomichi Marufuji couldn't have done anything with that version of Ibushi.
Okay, here's the thing. I thought Marufuji looked good in that Ibushi match in terms of like he was working hard because he knew that thing was a mess.
Right? Yeah, he literally like it's literally worse than having a match with Yoshihiko because Yoshihiko is like doesn't weigh anything, so you can do crazy spots. You can do things, yeah. You couldn't do that with Ibushi.
The point is, I think if the Ibushi match was good, there would have been less doubt going into this match, even though it wasn't Marufuji's fault. But that's how people are.
Yeah, true.
And anyway, I'm looking forward to Marufuji versus.
Yeah, although he lost here, but if they want to do that, I'm not against that.
No, I'm not.
Also, I kind of have to talk about something briefly that was kind of grinding my gears a little bit.
Okay.
Which is the rating that this match has on, or rather more generally speaking, about kind of cage match ratings a little bit as well. I don't think I really get a good opportunity to talk about this otherwise. Right, because this is currently the highest rated match on the show.
So
which people kind of put down towards the like WWE like ratings inflation stuff, right?
Oh wow. It also has like, okay, so it's got 151 votes, and the next most voted match of the main event was 67.
Yeah. So obviously, like, there's a lot of like WWE people that like parachuted in and all of that, and because there's a lot of stuff being made about like WWE people like inflating ratings and all of that, and I think I don't think like it was a very good match. I think it's definitely like higher than I would rate it. I don't think this rating is outrageous though, right? Like I don't think it's outrageous, and also because it's generally being presented as
ratings.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the other thing as well is my thing is more because it's kind of being made out like they're sullying this like perfect repertoire that existed before. When I think at worst they have like the WWE fans have exacerbated a problem that always existed. Like cage match was never a great or a perfect source for historical stuff.
Right.
So I want to do a little experiment for you. Do you know off the top of your head, because I have them open now, do you know off the top of your head what like the 5 highest rated Noah shows of all time are?
So
which one do you think is number 1?
Destiny 2005.
Correct. Which one do you think is number 2?
Destiny 2004.
No, you know what? Let's come back to number 2 later, because I think you'll get my point when I reveal that one. What do you think is number 3?
Destiny 2004.
Nope, it's the KG Muto retirement show.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Does it? I don't think it was that great of a show. Like that undercard was pretty dire, and that Nosawa retirement match was pretty shit too. So I don't think it really earned a rating that high. Number 4.
Okay, are we going to the Dome show in 2004?
That's the 2004 Dome show, yeah. And then number 5.
The March 1st, 2003 show?
Nope, it's the 2022 New Year show.
Really?
Yep. Huh. Okay, I will now reveal to you what the number 2 show is, because, Gerard, you would have never guessed this show in a million years. If I put a gun to your head and you have to guess the show, you are dead. Because it's WXW X Noah Dead End 8 Day 2 European Navigation from 2008.
Okay.
The highest rated match on that show has a 7.71, which is Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness.
That seems
and it has a 9.32 rating on Cage Match. You know, like, Cage Match has never been, like, it always has had, for example, an incredibly heavy bias towards, like, German stuff as well.
Right. Okay. Well, that sort of makes.
But that's what I mean. Like, it never was, like, a super unbiased source for a lot of stuff either.
Right, right.
And, like, for example, I don't think the Muto retirement show is, like, better than the or even I don't think it even should be in the top 5. Top 10 I could maybe make an argument for, but I don't think, like, there's some great stuff on here, don't get me wrong, but there's also some like not that great stuff on there either.
Right, for sure. Okay. So yeah, okay, that's a good point, because I think most people sort of trace this to the Tony Khan set talking about cage match thing.
I mean, they definitely, like, it's not that it's not a problem, right? I don't want to say that. It's just they just made an existing problem worse. It's more my like thing where it's like, no, you never should have seen cage match as this like unbiased like source for things. You always should see it as more critical. You can definitely take it as a broad guidance, but like sometimes there's stuff in there that is just completely just wrong. Mm-hmm. Like that WXW show got highly rated because it was a WXW show.
Right. Have you seen that show?
It's fine. It is in no way, shape, or form the second best Noah show ever, or even one of the best WXW shows ever. Like, a 9 is an outrageous rating. Like, I don't know, a 7.4, I think, is more of a reasonable rating for that.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So we move on to the main event, and we had Kaito Kiyomiya defeating, for the GC title, Kaito Kiyomiya defeated Yoichi in 25-31 with the modified Shining Wizard to make his second defense of the title in this reign. I thought this was a pretty good match. I would think that it was the match of the show. Paul, am I the only person that was just a little underwhelmed insofar as I thought that Kaido versus? Let me hear your thoughts on.
I love this match. If I have to put it up against Wagner, that is a pretty hard. I think they're very, very close. I think those two matches are very, very close. I would have to think about it long and hard which one I would rank ahead. But I think Yoichi, to me, he showed a ton here. I think to me, he showed that he can be a top guy if they like book him properly from here on out.
I agree. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, this was a great match. I just think I was actually expecting it to like surpass some of the other stuff that Kaido was.
So it's a victim of high expectations for you.
Yeah, a little bit. So I would give a little bit of an edge to the Wagner match.
I can definitely see a reasonable argument for that. Like if I think about it, like I think right now I might be preferring this, but that might be a bit of recency bias there as well. Like if I rewatch them for like when I rank do the match of the year list, I'll see which one comes out ahead there. But I thought this was excellent. I thought that the crowd was super hot for it as well. Like Yuichi is already for a guy that was just a complete loser before he left and that has been gone for a decent amount of time, he was super over immediately.
Yes. Obviously I think expected him to lose, and it's just going to be key on how they sort of.
Yeah, but he definitely his in-ring style I think fits very well with Kaito.
Okay, this is another thing that might sound a bit ridiculous. Do you think now that he's not as girthy, that his height hurts him?
A little bit, because he's not that tall.
He's really not that tall. And I know that Noah is not a height company, but when you're trying to make someone a monster, and to me, what before Inamura's size helps him, even if he wasn't the tallest. I think it takes he looks less monstrous. Great hair.
He does look less monstrous, but I do think it actually works for him in ring style, where I think he can do a bit more like Shingo Takagi stuff, right? So he has the speed and the power. So I think that's more what almost Power Junior is wrong in this case.
Yeah.
But that's more of the style that he's going for now, which I think that meshes more with guys like Kaito. So no, I thought. But I do agree that he is. It really was very stark for me because I did see him in person at 16 Carat when I saw him at the merch table, and I'm taller than him, which is always kind of a bit of a mindfuck for me. Because Wagner was there as well, right? And Wagner is just one of the largest human beings you've ever seen.
Yeah, for
Yoichi is not that tall. Actually, if now I look at it, he's actually taller than I thought he was, but he doesn't project that height, really.
No, he doesn't. That's sort of the thing. Given the sort of style and persona he's in.
Yeah, no. But I do think he at least has a little bit, I think it's very, this N1 is going to be crucial for him.
Absolutely.
This really will tell us, what he's actually going to do.
I'm relatively confident in his skills. It's just what the company's going to do with him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the fact that they put him in a title match immediately upon return is a show of kind of that they have some expectations here, right?
Yeah.
Because it isn't just that he came back and then quickly got a title match. It's literally his return, not literally his return match, but that's immediately we're gonna push you, and then we'll see if they stick with it during the N1 or not.
Anyway, I thought this was a pretty good show. I would put it behind Wrestle Magic in terms of show.
Yeah, no, but it definitely was one of the best shows of the year.
Absolutely. And it was a strong showing from Noah, even if the number wasn't great. I think it does continue.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than what they used to do, right? I think at this point we just have to accept that it's going to be a bit of a slow climb for Noah.
Well, I think at this point, assuming that everything goes well the second half of the year, they got to put at least 5 in the Budokan on January.
Oh, yeah.
Not more.
I'm also angry that they go back to Budokan January 1st this year. Because, again, they did it in They did it for 2023 New Year's. And then they didn't do it this year when I was there. So I didn't get to go to Budokan. And they're doing it again in 2025. And my plan currently is to be there again for New Year's 2026 and watch them not run Budokan that year again.
That's very well how it goes and everything like that. So we hinted at it before, but obviously the N1 participants were announced during the show. So let's go over them real quickly here. We got Block A, Kaito Kiyomiya, Go Shiozaki, Masa Kitamiya, Ryohei Oiwa, Jack Morris, Dragon Bane, Luis Monte, and Josh Briggs. Block B, Keno, Manabu Soya, Uka Sasaki, Yoichi, Ahio Dr. Wagner Jr., Alpha Wolf, Titus Alexander, and Tavian Heights. Paul, your thoughts?
I think it's with one glaring exception and one question mark, I think it's an incredibly strong field. I'm very excited. Like, there's a lot of fresh matchups in here as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think this has the chance to be the best like singles tournament in Japan this year. Like, if everybody is like motivated, like especially if this year the Dragon Gate representative is actually motivated and wants to do stuff, then I think this definitely has the potential to be really strong, because Los Golpeadores are gonna be like incredibly motivated. Oiwa is gonna be motivated. Like, obviously, like Yuichi or Yoshiki Nomura or whatever is gonna be up for it. Like Ulka Sasaki probably is as well. Like, just based on like him getting to show, like he has a lot to prove. Titus Alexander is gonna be motivated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he could be the breakout. Well, I mean, obviously everyone knows that he's a great talent, but I mean, he could absolutely be like best performer in this tournament by the end of it. Paul, which block looks better?
It's actually genuine, because Block A looks really good, but there's just the big anchor of Josh Briggs right there, who is not good.
I'm genuinely curious how they came up with sending him. We'll get to Tavion in a second. Only because, like, is it because he's built at 6'8"?
But that's not something that's important for Noah.
No, that's the thing. And here's the thing. Josh, if you look at the Noah Foreigner, historically, you've got like obviously Vader, but Vader was already a legend when Noah started and everything. They don't go for like the guys that would look like they would belong in 1980s Ultra.
No.
That was never the style.
Yeah.
Well, the closest was Bison Smith. But the rest of the guys, like you have, like Eddie Edwards.
Well, Rene Dupree.
And like,
But he was a Muto guy. That's different.
You had Chris Hero and Claudio, who are big guys, but they're like very different breed than the sort of like cowboy guy.
Yeah.
Or cowboy archetype and stuff like that. I mean, Eddie Edwards, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So Briggs, and obviously you saw that a bit with Saxon Huxley, although, I mean, that's when Huxley might be done.
Yeah. Them not being here. Although I think Huxley will be on the UK tour.
Yes, he will be, yeah. They might be sort of cycling there for.
Yeah. Which is smart. Like, you just cycle, like you basically cycle a bunch of guys in, see which one sticks, you keep the good guys, you cycle the others back out. Like, you keep like your Jack Morrises, your Titus Alexanders.
However, poor Anthony Green. I think we said that last
time. Oh no, he got cut because of the NXT guys, for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, if this whole NXT thing doesn't happen, like he's either in Block A or in Block B.
Imagine if Anthony Green was there in front of Josh Briggs.
Oh no, then A block is absolutely the better one. That's just a great block top to bottom. Because as much as I think like Olga has talent, I'm still like, let's see if he can keep that up for the entire tournament.
So I am actually very looking forward to Tavion.
Yep.
In this tournament. Look, he's got a legit, serious amateur background. He was a bronze medalist in like the 2021 World Championships. He's like he's won gold in the Pan American Games and silver and bronze. I'm just looking over at his wiki. So like, he's got like a legit serious like 90, and he's in the 98 kilogram sort of weight class. He's a legit.
I've been watching like Tavion Heights, I don't remember what his actual name was, but I've been watching shorts from his amateur wrestling career, and I'm like, you know what? If he pulls out some of like he's crazy athletic, like insane.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff. Yeah. So this is why. I mean, first of all, Noah could be like an incredible catalyst for him when he returns. Mm-hmm. And the point is, his like offense has a lot of like amateur stuff. I think he's going to excel in this tournament and find this relatively fast. Now, my only concern is, though, not necessarily him from an athletic standpoint, but whatever God knows what they implant in those people's brains at the performance center in terms of.
Gonna look for the hard cam.
yeah, and stuff like that. So I think he might, if he has a bad first or second couple matches, I wouldn't be too concerned. I would see how his whole tournament.
What I'm going to be interested in is like a guy, like a WWE system guy that's only ever been there and also not that long either, reacts to like getting kicked in the chest by Keno or getting chopped by Alpha Wolf. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? He's like, oh, what do you mean you didn't pull that?
Well, for all you know, they might be pulling that because like even someone like notorious asshole Katsuhiko Nakajima would take easier on the fan.
He didn't really take it all that easy on shit, why am I playing Dempsey? But Dempsey probably also told him, yeah, you can lay it and it's fine.
Oh yeah, no, Dempsey's a different breed, right? Like he was trained by his father in New Japan Dojo, I think, too, wasn't he? So,
but hey, apparently that Tavian guy is in the same stable as Dempsey, so that's also another thing that gives me some hope as well.
Yeah, exactly, right. I mean, he wrestles like he's an amateur wrestler turned pro, and not just like a WWE guy. But so I am fairly cautiously optimistic about Tavion Yates' performance.
Yeah, it's definitely a big question mark. If he delivers, then I do think B block has the potential to be better than A block. But I think it will be very close.
Yeah, for sure. And then to quickly, some previews. So on July 20th, we got another Limit Break show, Limit Break X. And this one at Yokohama Radiant Hall. And so we've got Jun Akiyama versus Yu Owada.
I mean, it's always good when Jun Akiyama tortures young boys.
We've got the Kubota brothers, Hide and Yazu, against Tomomitsu Matsunaga and Takumi Saito. We've got Yoshitatsu versus Suki Nagao. Okay.
Sure.
We've got Atsushi Katoge and Kohei Kinoshita versus Koji Iwamoto and Yuto Kokuchi.
Always happy to see you, Iwamoto.
Yeah, it's funny because Iwamoto's still slumming it up on the bigger had been touching him since he stopped Japan dates.
Yeah, very odd.
A tag match. Muhammad Yone, Hiroki, and Harutoki versus Masato Tanaka, Chris Weiss, Kuya Sugawara. I don't know what to make of that. And then what I assume is going to be the main event, Go Shiozaki and Kazuyuki Fujita versus Akitoshi Saito, Ishikawa.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it does sound good. Like all of the Limit Break stuff, I'm like, okay, some of that sound kind of weird, but then like they generally bring it around for the main event.
Yeah, and then on the 21st, Noah has a show at Korakuen Hall. We've got Kai Fujimura's return match against Yu Owada. We've got Linton versus Junta Miyawaka. We've got Marufuji, Wagner, and Amaska versus Sugera, Ohara, and Alpha Wolf. Actually, that could become good. We've got the Rattels reunion return match here. Hayata, Yohan Tadasuke versus Daga, Yoshinari Ogawa, and I don't know if that's going to make the best way to do a Rattels return match, but oh well. GHC Junior Heavyweight tag team match. Shuji Kondo and Ada versus Alejandro and Crystal Ball.
See, and here's where things get weird.
Yeah.
Right. So, because I think you and me and almost a lot of other people have been predicting that like Kai Fujimura is under that Crystal Ball mask.
Yeah.
So either he's not or he's pulling double duty here.
Yeah. Can I just address one rumor? Crystal Ball is too tall to be Yasutaku Yano.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely it's not Yano. Yeah, no. Like Yano is Yano is really short. Like even by Noah standards, he is incredibly short.
Yeah, he's like 100.
Like Yano is no, that's the wrong Yano. Yasutaka Yano is 166, like 5'5". Like Crystal Ball is way taller than that.
Yeah, so you do not have to worry that they're trying to smuggle in Yano through the back door. Like, what's that guy in who went to Mexico that wrestles under a mask?
Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down?
Well,
Travis Banks.
Yes, that's right. There's not trying to Travis Banks him.
No.
Or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know who could be otherwise. So I mean, Crystal Ball's been not particularly good though either.
No, that's actually my other suspicion here is that like, I mean, it's weird that they're doing it on the same show, but like maybe they're like reintroducing Kai Fujimura. They're gonna have Aleja and Crystal Ball lose, and then they're just gonna quietly retire the Crystal Ball character.
Well,
he's just gonna wrestle as Kai Fujimura.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing Crystal Ball gone. He's just been an absolute nothing.
Yeah. Next match up. This is a bit interesting. We've got Keno and Uka Sasaki versus he's back to Yoshiki Inamura, people.
Yep.
I don't know
They
what
even apologized to us because he changed his name.
why.
It's a Japanese thing. It's basically just whenever anything happens, you're like, oh, we apologize
No,
for the
I'm
inconvenience.
asking why they changed his name though.
Oh, yeah, that one is very weird. Especially after he did the whole thing. I think he named himself Yuichi like pretty quickly upon going on excursion. Like when he changed his look and everything. Like I think he lost to LG Cleary with his old look, and then on the next show he was Yoichi with his new look. So it's very odd that now they're changing it back.
So Yoshiki Inamura and Manabu Soya. What a team.
Yep.
I'm curious. I don't know who's doing the job here.
It can't be Yoichi, Yoshiki Inamura. Oh, God damn it, this is gonna take a while.
But I feel like
can't be Inamura, right?
God, I might have Keno get pinned.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage,
this is an N1 preview tag match, basically.
Yeah,
right?
so someone has to take the pin here, but it's like, yeah, I don't really want any of these to take the pin.
You could pin Soya if it's Keno in the N1.
I guess, yeah. Or you do the reverse where Soya pins him here and then Keno beats him in the N1.
Yeah.
We haven't actually, I think, aren't the like cards actually out for kind of the whole tournament? Or are they only out for like parts of the tournament yet? I don't remember. Because, for example, if that's like a final night thing, I think that might be like an indicator.
Oh, they're facing each other on the first night.
Ooh, see, yeah. So that's definitely like, that's going to be like some sort of finish there. And then whoever loses here wins in the tournament.
So this is August 4th, the first night. We'll just talk about that instead of going over everything. We got Wagner versus Wolf, Oiwa versus Josh Briggs, Alexander versus Tavian Heights. Honestly, that could be good. Go Shiozaki versus Dragon Bane.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for all of the Golpeadores matches, really.
Uka Sasaki versus Yoshiki Inamura. So you can have one of them pin one or another and then split it. Masa Kitamiya versus Jack Morris.
Yeah, I mean, you can have that can go either way, yeah.
And then we had Keno versus Manabu Soya, and then Kaito Kiyomiya versus.
Okay, I just looked at the final block night, and they're doing Kaito versus Jack Morris. So I feel like that block is coming down to that, right? So Jack might actually be going to the final.
He might very well, yeah.
Go versus Luis Mante. Is Luis Mante getting a 0-1 title shot?
Maybe.
Masa Kitamiya versus Oiwa.
I'm going to the final. Yeah. That could be a match that matters too.
Josh Briggs versus Dragon Bane. Okay, sure. Keno versus Yoshiki Inamura is the.
I think you got to give Inamura that win there.
Yep. Yeah, he has to beat Keno. Yeah. You have Manabu Soya versus Dr. Wagner versus Wagner Free.
Soya would be a good spoiler.
Yeah. Alpha Wolf versus Titus Alexander.
That's probably not going to matter, but it could be.
Yeah, and then Olga Sasaki versus Tavian Heights.
See, here's the thing. This is where experience could be an issue if in that match.
Yes.
At the same time,
I think Tavian might be the more experienced worker.
He is probably
not good.
But also, it could also be kind of good if they just like grappling.
Yeah.
So that'll be but yeah.
I mean, that could very well be like either like Inamura goes through to the final, or he like plays spoiler. He like spoilers Keno on the final night.
I think you should send Inamura to the final. And
I think so too.
I mean, do you give it to Oiwa?
I actually I would. I know it's a bit controversial to give it to the New Japan guy, but I do I think they're building to that, right? Like that was like the last two in the ring.
Yeah.
When because after the main event they did the whole all of the N1 participants come out, and then the final two in the ring were Kaito and Oiwa.
Yeah.
So I think that that is very clearly like a match, like a title match that they're building.
Do you think Oiwa beats Kaito in the block stage?
It could be. I don't think it really matters, right? Like if he just wins the tournament.
Yeah.
But then you would have to drop him twice to him because you're not gonna have Oiwa beat Kaito in the
match. It's either gotta be Oiwa beats him or they do the 30-minute.
Yeah, that actually could be an option as well, where they just draw.
I would say, given how sort of many sort of top-ish guys are in block, I think we will get some draws.
Yeah, definitely. But I do think for example, Oiwa going to the final, you can get to that match with Kaito that they're very clearly building. And B, if you put Yoichi or Yoshiki Inamura in that final, like that's also like a show of like it's fine if he loses there, right? Like he had an incredible like the last N1 he was in, he went winless. So like him turning that around and like going to the finals in the next one, he doesn't lose anything from like losing in the finals there.
Yeah. So
And then you use Oiva for as long as you have, and you maximize his potential by like building him up for a big title match with Kaito, and then you do that title match, and then he can go off to back to New Japan.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like given what this will be, like that's good timing for him to pop back up and like wrestle.
Yeah, or
right?
New Year's Dash or New Beginning or whatever. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, they're gonna do, I would assume that the title match is in October, right? Unless they really do try it on New Year's.
It could, but they haven't traditionally done that. They have done it pretty quickly after.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can probably do like another title shot against like someone that Kaito lost to during the N1. Like, I don't know, maybe Luis Mante. If I want to do like an outsider. But yeah, I mean, there's some options here, and then you do whatever you do on January 1st.
Yeah.
AJ versus Kaito.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that 9 times out of 10 WWE will come out on top, but I would not completely rule it out. Although I would not bet that Noah lets them pin like a guy like an AJ Styles that's an established name, but also like on the downside.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, because even if it's like a Nakamura, I don't think because it's like basically a guy they don't really care if this guy gets beat.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it doesn't really matter for them either, right? Because they're also not pushing AJ super hard anymore either.
No, not anymore for sure. So yeah, that's Noah. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I'm really excited for the N1. I think this is a great lineup. Josh Briggs, like I said, is the big kind of negative standout there, but everybody else, I think I'm excited for. Tavian Heights is a risk, but I think if he works out well, this is going to be an amazing tournament with very little downsides.
Sure. Definitely. So we move on to All Japan Pro Wrestling at the Summer Action Series on July 13th at Osaka Edion Arena number 2 in front of 958 fans, which was just billed as 958, not anything else, although there's not many.
No, there were very few empty seats there.
Yeah, which is interesting. We'll get to that in a minute. We got Hideki Suzuki and Hikaru Sato defeating Dan Tamura and Ryo Inoue in 8:23 with a ground Cobra twist from Suzuki on Inoue. I thought this was a very enjoyable opener. I think, Sato and Suzuki are tag champions in Tenryu Project and everything like that, so they have their chemistry, but this was a lot of fun, I thought.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely all in favor of like Suzuki and Sato like teaming up more regularly now. And yeah, this was a good first step for that. And Ryo, I will say Ryo in a way has felt a little bit like lost in the shuffle.
Yes, it's returning from injury. Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, he's still young, so there's still time. But
yeah,
definitely doesn't seem like they have anything for him at the moment. And I think it might be because they're also waiting for the next like trainees to like be ready, so they can like move him out of the like lose in the opener spot.
I
don't have anyone else for that.
I would assume that they're going to be debuting. There's 2 of them, and I would assume next couple of months.
Yeah, hopefully.
Probably by October.
Yeah.
And then next up, a Super Dolphin and Super W defeated Hirotaka Nissan and Flying Penguin in 7:21 with the Super Flash W from W on Penguin. Look, I thought this was actually kind of perfectly enjoyable.
To be quite honest, I didn't really pay a lot of attention during this match because it was happening at the same time as the Lucha Tag on the Noah show.
Well, I decided against double. And it should be noted that I actually went to bed before the main event of the Noah show because it was like 6 a.m. And I was like, Paul, ping me if Suwama would.
Yeah, and I pinged you anyway. And you also went to bed just before Ashino got pinned, which also was very funny.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I enjoyed the match. It was a fun comedy match. I hadn't seen so.
Yeah.
And then Hokuto Omori, Kumarashi Cyrus, and Jack Kennedy defeated Kuroshio Tokyo Japan, Seigo Tachibana, Musashi, and Taki Yoshioka in 10:40 with the frog splash from Omori on Tachibana. This was what it was. It's perfectly fine, I guess. And Omori trying to really make that frog splash.
Yeah. Also with his new look as well, his
Yep.
Jiggly inspired look.
Or General Lissimo Takada.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like a general kind of thing. And yeah, I'm still not sure how I feel about Hokutogun. Like, it's a very weird faction.
They're slowly growing on me. After watching all of these shows, I'll say that. Then next up, Ryuki Honda and Ren Ayabe defeated Shitaro Ashino and the Bodyguard in 11:40. Honda used a pinned Ashino with the final event. Now, look, I think things would go in why Honda got the win in this match and everything like that. I know, but it just feels like
Bodyguard's right there.
Yeah. Actually, I thought this was actually a pretty good match.
Yeah.
For what it was, right?
No, the match was definitely good.
Yeah. Ashino and Honda. Bodyguard didn't really get in the way or anything like that. But, it would set things up with.
But it's
sucks. Like, I don't know.
It sucks. Yeah, I want Ashino. Like, anytime, like, when he comes out here as well, you're just like, oh, this guy's the coolest motherfucker ever. And then it's very frustrating.
Well, my other critique here is that the Bodyguard did not get.
Yeah. I mean, Ashino's theme is better, but yeah, you know what? Bodyguard should have just done, Bodyguard should have done karaoke to Fuel.
Absolutely. Okay. That's how you split it down the middle.
Yeah.
Next up then, for the PWF World Junior Heavyweight title, Mr. Saito Naruki Doi defeated Rising Hayato in 15:01 with a cradle. And so Hayato failed on his fourth defense of the title, and Doi is the 69th champion.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, now some people, this was the match. There was a lot of people that really loved this match. I mean, I thought it was very good. It was a great match. I have another match that it would be my match yet to get to.
Okay. Yeah, it's also not my match of the show. Actually, question: which one do you think is better, this one or the one they had last year?
I'd have to rewatch last year's. I think though last year's might have been better.
Yeah, that was my feel. Like, I walked away from this match. I was like, this was really good. I liked last year's better.
I think we had mentioned that this seemed likely.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, how do you feel about that now? Because your point was always like that Hayato should keep it until Atsuki can come back.
I mean, ideally, but I think Hayato's getting this back.
Yeah. So I like Doi. I think Doi has had like an excellent year as well.
I mean, Doi is.
Yeah.
Actually.
So I like the decision because it kind of freshens things up a little bit again. And the Hayato's going to get it. Like, I think it's very certain that Hayato will hold it when Atsuki is coming back. I think that's pretty certain.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. What do you think? Hayato wins back-to-back junior battle?
That's very possible.
Like, do you think you see Doi holding this to January, or do you think?
No, I don't think Doi is also even that interested in long title reigns and doing long title reigns anymore either.
That's true too.
Like, all of the title reigns he's had since he kind of went freelance have been pretty short. Not super short, but like 2-3 defenses.
And then for the World Tag Team titles, Jun Saito and Rei Saito defeated Kento Miyahara and Yuma Aoyagi in 1903. Jun pinned Aoyagi after the Doom for their second defense of the titles in this second reign of theirs. I thought this was the match of the show, in all honesty. I thought this was not as good as the big Saito's title win back last October, but this was still a very good match. And obviously, we've talked a lot about how the Saitos have improved, but when Miyahara and Aoyagi sell for them, they look like.
Oh yeah, they bounced like crazy for this. But I will say it still wasn't my match of the show.
Oh really? Okay, interesting.
Yeah. But no, this was excellent as well. These four they just have great chemistry, as you said as well. Like, and it really helps that Kento and Yuma are just like, we're just gonna like bump like madman for these two guys. I was a little bit surprised about the result though, because I kind of expected Kento and Yuma to win here, but I'm not against the Saitos continuing the reign because they're excellent champions.
Well, we'll get to a few things, and maybe we could see where something. And then in the main event, Yuma Anzai defeated for the Triple Crown. Yuma Anzai defeated Swam in 21 minutes and 34 seconds with a backdrop suplex to make his third defense of the title. I mean, look, this was a very good match. I'm not sure if it was quite as thrilling as their Champion Carnival match, but obviously there's a lot of symbolism there. I mean, Suwama did supposed to be Suwama's last challenge for the Triple Crown. And then they did the 3 backdrops that Anzai kicked out, and then Anzai pinned Suwama with the backdrop, which is Suwama's move, but also a very important move in the history of All Japan, especially given the Jumbo and Anzai comparison. I thought it was pretty good. but I would probably rank it third of the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, probably not surprising at this point, but this was my favorite match on the show. I mean, but I will stick with what I thought of it in the moment, because they kind of like ruined it a little bit since then with what they've done afterwards with Suwama going back on his word. But I'm just kind of gonna like say kind of what I thought of it in the moment when it happened. Like, this is also the match that like actually made me like jump up from my chair as well. Like literally the like standing and pacing thing. Yeah, I think these two have great chemistry as well. And I also love that the story of this has also just constantly been that like Anzai just has Suwama's number, right? Because like Anzai's first ever pin he got was over Suwama. And then I do also agree though that the championship carnival match was better. But like the story of that, just like the story here, was that Anzai is just like, he's just better than Suwama. Suwama just like constantly keeps trying everything he can against this kid, and the kid just is better than him. And I bit incredibly hard when Suwama hit Anzai with 3 back body drops, or with the 3 backdrop suplexes, right? Because I was like, oh, because he hit him with 1, I was like, he's probably going to kick out of that. And then like I'm like, oh no, they're going back up. Oh, he hit him with the second one. I'm like, it's over. Okay, Suwama's winning. Oh shit. And then he hit him with a third one, and then even more, I was like, okay, now it's definitely over. And then he kicks out, and I literally like jumped up and like fist pumped when that happened. And then Yuma, and then Anzai just does 1 backdrop suplex, right? Like, how much more like symbolic can you be than like, you get hit with the finisher 3 times, you kick out, you use that finisher that isn't even your own once, and you win. Like, how much more definitively can you end someone? Like, that just makes it that much more of a shame that they went back on it, because I think this was a beautiful ending, and they ruined it.
Yeah, we'll get back to that in a second, because it sort of happens chronologically. So, I mean, a very good show.
Yeah, I will say this and the Noah show were pretty close for me.
This was a very loaded show that I'm shocked that they loaded up as much.
Yeah.
So quickly, we got 2 more shows. So Summer Action Series on July 14th at the Shimizu Marine Building in front of 417 fans. We got Dan Tamura and Hideki sitting Kuroshio, Tokyo, Japan, and Seigo Tachibana in 821 with the Cobra Twist from Suzuki on Tachibana. Again, I like Hideki in these opening roles. They're fun, actually.
Yeah. No, he does pretty well, and it's not a lot of time either, so he can just kind of come in and out and like does his stuff. So it's good.
And then Rei Sato defeated Musashi with a choke slam. This was a lot of fun. This is a very large heavyweight type match.
Yeah. And then Musashi also just, I keep saying this, but like the best guy they've brought in years in terms of like bringing in. Well, maybe not years, but like definitely this year.
Shotaro Ashino and Hideki Shakin defeated Suwama and Hikaru Sato in 10:49 with the ankle hold from Sakin on Sato. Most of this match was on the bat.
Yep.
Which is fine. I mostly enjoyed it, but your mileage made.
And also Shrek getting the win and not Ashino.
Yeah, of course.
With Ashino's finish on top of, I don't know, whatever.
And then Yuma Aoyagi defeated Seki Yoshioka in 8:54 with the Japanese leg roll clutch hold. Again, like a very simple match, but it was a lot of fun with these 2 guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
But,
could have been a little bit. I actually thought Rei Saito was Musashi was better than this one.
Yeah, okay, interesting. I'd give the edge to this, but again, I mean, these guys are going for a very simple match. This is not either of them at their. And then Jun Saito and Mr. Saito Nukuri Doi defeated Kento Miyahara and Ryo Inoue in 12:24 with the jackhammer from Saito on Inoue. This was a lot of fun, actually.
No, this was great as well, and interesting booking as well.
You think so?
I mean, but yeah, then again, Jun and Doi are the champions. So, but it is always interesting when Kento is on the losing end of a match like this.
Yeah. And then Yuma Anzai, Rising Hayato, Reikuhan, and Renayabe defeated Hokuto Omori, Kuma Rashi, Cyrus, and Jack Kennedy in 16:21 with the final vent from Honda on Omori, which brings up the fact that I forgot to mention that Honda came out to challenge Anzai after he beat Suwama. And
which I did not expect.
Which I did not expect, but also makes sense.
Yeah.
Based on the carnival. Although I thought that that wasn't going to happen because of the injury thing.
Yeah, what a weird thing that was. Because it also doesn't seem like it's gonna like lead back to anything now. So it seems like it was a one-off.
Yeah, what a strange one-off. I kind of enjoyed this match actually. Like I said, Hokuto Gun is slowly growing.
I mean, an Elpida needs someone to feud with as well.
And I know that I've been harsh on Cyrus, but I enjoy.
I mean, there's a lot of people that can bump for him.
Yeah, exactly. And they, picked his spots and everything. So it was like, okay, well, this is like a very good. I will be nuts at this.
No,
time.
I mean, I think I remember saying like a while ago, like that Cyrus would be like a good guy. Like at that time, I was like, I don't know, throwing around the potential of like a Kento heel faction or something, and he would have been a good heavy for that. So I mean, now they're doing exactly that, but with like Hokuto.
And so that was a perfectly solid like spot show. And then the next day on the 15th at Yokohama Radiant Hall, we had Evolution 6 in front of 370 fans. It was a Supernova Vacancy Full House. Now this is actually better than what Noah usually does in Yokohama Radiant Hall, but All Japan does not run there as much as Noah does. No. I suppose you could control for that. First match, Yuma Aoyagi defeated Jack Kennedy in 8:01 with a crucifix hold. I would say that Jack is slowly growing on.
Yeah, I think he's still pretty rough though.
I think he's got potential ultimately.
Oh yeah, I do think he has potential, but he does need a lot of work.
I mean, he's got a better chance of it developing here than in like Yamagase Pro slumming it.
Moto Brothers. Absolutely. I mean, I'd be interested as well if they would like take him into their dojo as well. Which
I think they probably should.
Have we ever really gotten a foreigner in the All Japan dojo?
Akira.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. Of course. I don't know why I completely blanked on Akira. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so it wouldn't be unprecedented then.
Oh no. I think they'd take him in, and he.
Yeah.
And then Hokuto Omori and Cyrus defeated Kuroshio Tokyo Japan and Seigo Tachibana in 12:49 with the frog splash from Omori and Tachibana. I'll say this, and this went too. Now I don't think it was horrible or anything, but like the story of this match did not need 12 almost. 3.
No, like you could have cut like 5 minutes off here.
Oh yeah. And then Ketsu Miyahara and Musashi defeated Shotaro Ashino and Ryo Inoue in 12 minutes and 7 seconds with a shutdown German suplex from Miyahara on Inoue. Again, this was a pretty solid match.
And at least Ashino didn't get pinned.
Yes.
Could you imagine if they pinned him over Inoue? Jesus.
I know. And then I would say he's leaving.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. That's like Yoshitatsu levels.
Okay, so I was going through this in my head. I don't really think at this point a change of scenery.
No, because like where would he even... Maybe Great would book him higher on the card.
Maybe. Yeah, they probably would. But then that's...
I don't think Noah would.
Yeah. No, that's the main thing, right? That would be the main landing spot, and I don't think that it would be fun. I mean, look what they did with Deki Inaba. Although, mind you, Ashino has more of a star projection feeling.
Is he small enough to go to Dragon?
Yeah, look bigger than a lot of them, but he's like small Shingo, right?
Yeah, he could be like not a monster, but he could be like a lot more like a bully there. That would work a lot better for him than like doing that kind of stuff in All Japan where he's just smaller than most of the others.
I am hearing reports that on Open the Voice Gate, they've got Jay on talking about Kobe Worlds. He's got some details on Nakajima and Fukuda.
Ooh.
So I'm going to take this as a, he's not coming back actually.
Yeah. It really feels like for me, it all goes back. I don't know if Jay confirmed that there or not. For me, I think it all goes back to that cease and desist that they got. I think that's what killed the relationship.
It would make sense. But definitely we'll find out. Ryoki Hana and Masashi Takeda defeated Yuma Anzai and Rising Hado in 12:33 with the air. Well, it still says an airplane throw, but is that what that cradle is called? I don't know. But it was a cradle. Like a thing that he got him, which I thought was the right finish. I thought this was a pretty good match. And Takeda pops up in All Japan on these like smaller shows, but I wish more
he's
on
great.
bigger ones. Yeah. And then so I thought that was a good build up to the Triple Crown match. And then, so Dan Tamura defeated Hikaru Sato in 12:50 with the Death Valley Bomb. This was interesting match. This was like I I thought the story here was like, okay, well, Tamara has finally surpassed Sato.
Mhm.
That's what it felt like. And there was a
Yeah.
bunch of sick headbutts leading up to the finish. And it was like, can Dan withstand the headbutts? He did. You know, that's sort of the story of the match.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I thought it was pretty good, and I think it was also necessary to do this now as well because
Yeah.
Sato for so long was like the dominant guy, kind of in their relationship,
Yeah.
and it's basically like no, like even if they stay together as a tag team, then it's gonna be Dan now.
Yeah.
It's Dan time.
It is Dan time. And then in the main event, billed as the Age of Fools versus Saito Brothers special 6-man tag match. Suwama, Hideki Suzuki, and Mr. B defeated Jun Saito, Rei Saito, and Mr. Saito Naruki Doi in 1749 with a backdrop from Suwama on June. Mr. B is Akira Raijin, aka Sushi, who got unmasked 30 seconds by Doi.
Yeah, I don't know why we did this, but sure.
I mostly enjoyed this match. I thought the last few minutes were actually pretty good, but also played a lot for comedy. And Suwama and Hideki doing their thing. I think at one point, like Hideki put on a Saito Brothers shirt instead of attacking, and that sort of thing. But
it was very serious.
Suwama and June actually have really good chemistry, I think, actually. And so that was a good closing stretch and everything like that. Mostly a good show, I'd say. But again, these are like spot shows, so not everyone's like working as hard as you might.
Not
think,
super essential,
right?
no.
So it's like your Yumi Aoyagi versus Seki Yoshioka match is not what in other circumstances.
If that's like in Kurikan, they probably work at a different standard.
Yeah. So we got some previews to talk about because we got a lot to talk about with upcoming stuff in All Japan. So this Saturday, July 20th, Korakuen Hall show, we've got, and the final match order has not been announced. So this is just taken from the website. We got Kyohei Wada's 50th anniversary 6-man tag match. Suwama, Dan Tamura, and Takawa Omori versus Masanobu Fuchi, Jun Saito, and Rei Saito. The next stream final, Kento Miyahara versus Rising Hayato. We've got the All Asia tag match. Musashi and Seki Yoshioka are defending against Doi and, well, S. We've got.
I mean, do you think they're losing on their V1 there because it is like a mystery man on the other side?
Well, are these going to give Doi every belt?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, at that point, basically, like, the Saitos hold, like, all of the belts except for the Triple Crown and, like, the Gaora title.
Yeah, I could see it, but I don't know. I like Musashi and Seki.
Yeah. I hope they defend, but we'll see.
Yeah. Act West time, we've got Natsu Aoi and Shiosuke Nagisa versus Yufa and Kyoka Iwai. I don't know. We've got Yuma Anzai versus Reiki Honda for the Triple Crown. Will be Anzai's first defense of the title, and I assume Anzai is going to win this one. We got a 10
Would you have done this match already, or would you have maybe saved that for later, for like the second reign?
I don't know.
Because I do feel like, okay, let's see. Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll talk about it a bit more later.
About Anzai in a second.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the result's obvious. Hokuto Omori and Kumarashi and Cyrus and Jack Kennedy and Aizawa #1 versus Shotaro, Ryo Inoue, Hideki Suzuki, Kuroshio Tokyo, Jibana. And then #1 contenders for the Triple Crown match for August 17th at Tachikawa, which is in that western portion of Tokyo to the west of the special. And it's a 3,000 seat venue, basketball arena. And so we've got Yuma Aoyagi versus Ren Ayabe. And I think the winner, is going to be Aoyagi.
Yeah. As much as I think they're really high on Ayabe, right? Because whenever Anzai isn't there, they generally come out to his music.
Yeah.
Elpida.
Well, they're not going to have Ren Ayabe in the main event.
No, exactly. Not in a 3,000 building. Like, even in a Kurikan, I would be like, I don't know about that one. But yeah, I do think Yuma is the challenger, the obvious one. And I do think he's winning. I think he's beating Anzai.
Well, I was going to bring that up. It's time. Like,
yeah,
this has gone on longer than I thought.
Yes.
But look, he gets to Aoyagi, and I think that's a good first reign. And I think Aoyagi is the perfect roadblock. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see that.
Because he needs one. Because if it's not Aoyagi, then who's the roadblock?
Yeah. And then, do you think that the main event of December 31st is Aoyagi versus Kento?
Yeah. I mean, if Nakajima's out, then that's kind of the biggest match that you have. Right? Because you've already done Kento versus Anzai, and you're doing Yuma versus Anzai soon. So then really the only other big match that you have right now would be Yuma versus Kento.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
But let's look to August 3rd because that is coming up after Korakuen. We got Jun Saito versus David Boy Smith Jr. and it has now been reported by the Observer that he signed a 6-month contract with All Japan. Paul, what do you think?
You know what? After the performance he had in the Champion Carnival, I don't mind it.
Yeah, no, I don't mind it at
especially in
all.
that Kento match.
Yep. Now let me ask you this:
Mhm.
What are the chances of him winning?
And challenging Yuma. I do
Yeah.
think he's getting at least one title shot out of this, yeah.
I do. I agree. But so in terms of upcoming title shots, we know that I think it's September 1st or 3rd in Fukuoka. They said that there's a Triple Crown match. Yes, September 1st in Fukuoka. And
Yeah.
then after that is Royal Road.
So yeah, there's not a lot of, because like a lot of people like
And then-
Kento is not winning the Royal Road, like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Anzai just lost the title at that point, presumably. And even if he didn't, then he's the champ, so he's not going to win. Like, he's not winning either way. Honda just had a title shot. That doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Suwama, again, even though he also just had a title shot, even despite the fact that he just went back on his thing.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention that. So Suwama then went back on. He's never going to challenge again. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's shit.
Yeah.
They had a great storyline, and they went back on it.
And
I don't think there's really much you can get out of like you can really only do this once as well, right? Like the next time you tease it, it's not gonna work. That's just,
No,
I do think it will actually hurt Suwama as a draw in title matches going forward, if you even do one again.
What if
which
they
I
put
guess
like
they do know.
What if they put like a formal stipulation that was enforced from?
I don't know. I just don't like doing it, like especially because he did it like immediately afterwards. It just cheapens it so much.
I know.
Like if there had been like a longer build up or whatever, where it's like, I don't know, like the title is on someone, like, I don't know, we have like a heel champion or whatever, and he's beaten a bunch of people. And then Suwama's like, I know I said I wouldn't do this again, but I have to do it for All Japan or whatever. Like, like make it a bit more dramatic and not just him kind of like 2 days later. It's like, actually, never mind, guys, I'm just back. I lied, basically.
Although it looks like that Suwama and Hideki are going to be challenging the Saitos. I assume on that show on August 17th.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was also a mistranslation, and he was just saying that he's going to go after the tag titles.
Yeah, we'll see. What do you think of the chances of them winning those tag titles?
Pretty. I mean, I don't know. Because we have that weird reign that they had in there because Ray got injured. Like, I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Oh, no.
So, that kind of throws a bit, because then I'm like, well, does it actually make sense to go straight back to them now? Whereas I think that would have made perfect sense if the Saitos had gotten like a long, like that super long uninterrupted reign, and then they lose to Suwama and Hideki. I think that would have made a lot of sense. Now I don't know if it still makes sense.
Yep. And then
because they're not that good of a team.
No. And then the main event, what I assume the main event of the August 3rd show is going to be Ray Saito versus the winner of Honda versus Anzai. But I mean, it's kind of obvious, especially with Ray having beaten Anzai in the Champion Carnival as well.
Yeah. Ren will get a Triple Crown shot eventually, but this is way too early for him.
Well, yeah, and that's the
yeah, absolutely. Like that's not a 3,000 people building, like 3,000 people building match.
No,
not yet. It might be in the future, but it definitely isn't right now.
Yeah. So, any closing thoughts on All Japan? I would say, other than the Suwama misstep.
Yeah. That one. I mean, we were due for like All Japan doing some, like, right? I've been saying that as well. We've been due for All Japan doing some dumb shit, because they do it at least once every 6 months. So I'm happy that all it is like them going back on like their promise that Suwama wouldn't challenge again. On the grand scheme of things, that's less damaging than what they could have done.
Well, I was just gonna say, I don't think. I mean, I'm glad that they didn't do the Suwama title reign.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, which gets me to the next thing is, are they having too many Triple Crown matches?
A little bit, yeah. I almost feel like they should slow down.
And unlike, famously New Japan, would avoid trying to announce things ahead of time. Mm-hmm. They are, right? They basically like, look, Ray's getting a title shot on August 3rd here, and then like on August 17th, we've got the winner of Ayabe versus Aoyagi.
Yeah, like there's not a lot of time to breathe. Like it seemed to be like really big hurry to get a bunch of title defenses, whereas they used to spread them out a lot more over the year as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what the urgency here is. I guess maybe
Well,
because you want to give
it's the
Anzai a bunch of
schedule.
defenses.
I mean, look, they got Sunday Sun Plaza. They got that basketball arena in Tokyo. That's 3,000 people.
Mhm.
They have how big is this? Which I think I looked at it earlier, but it's just like, well, they it's a big convention center. Which you're going to get at least 1,000 people. So
Yeah.
it's like they're running bigger. They're running more bigger buildings. So what else do they got to?
Yeah, except for, I mean, you can put, like in theory, like I don't know why they're not doing tag title matches on top.
Well,
there.
especially, I mean, I think that either the Saitos or either Kento and Yuma can carry, bigger shows if they're the tag champ.
Yeah, it's very weird. Okay, so I just looked at like some previous reigns that were like roughly around the same length to what Anzai has had so far.
Yeah.
And like, for example, the Kento reign in 2018, that was like 126 days.
Yeah.
In there, he had like 2 successful defenses, and then he lost it to Zeus.
See, and we've got him going. He's going to make 5 defenses on this first reign by the end.
That's a lot. Yeah. Like same again. Go Shiozaki in 2015, 138 days, 2 successful defenses, and then he lost it to Akebono.
Yeah. It's just sort of also. I mean, if Anzai beats Aoyagi, I don't know what.
No, yeah, then I'm just completely like it. I mean, then I guess it's Kento at the New Year's Eve show.
Yeah, I could see that, and then him winning it back, absolutely. But I think.
Also, sorry, just real quick to like show that All Japan is in a better spot now than they've been for like a while now. That 2015 show, they ran at that time still the Bodymaker number 2 with Go Shiozaki versus Zeus on top for the Triple Crown. 873.
That's not considerably just did.
No, it's not considerably worse, but still, like, like they also had an Osaka native guy on top there as well.
That's true. But if you were to tell me that it was 500-600, which I would actually believe in that era.
Oh yeah.
That you would do in Eddie, I could believe that for sure. So yeah. Well, if the worst thing that's happened is the Suwama going back on his final challenge declaration, I would consider that not bad, all things.
Actually, okay, sorry, because no, I just keep looking around there, sorry. Because then the next one was Go versus Kento and Kurikan, 874. That would be a disappointing number these days. In Kurikan.
Absolutely.
And for that match, like that is a way bigger match now than it was 9 years ago, weirdly. Not sure. Weirdly. I mean, Kento is obviously a bigger star now, so.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, I think as long as Yuma wins that Aoyagi beats Anzai. Had to clarify that. I think we're probably in a good spot.
As long as Yuma beats Yuma, we're in a good spot.
Exactly. I could see them going all the way to the end of the year with him. I don't know.
I think that's a mistake, yeah.
It's a mistake. You run the risk of it becoming like I see a lot of Anzai shirts in the crowd. It's like I think you run the risk of like shoving it down people's throats too much.
I mean, it's also you just kind of burn through the fences as well.
Yeah,
that was the problem with the Kento. Like the Kento reign was so long because it had to be, because there was literally nobody else. Well, but it's also like they've been struggling. Yeah, they've been struggling with having fresh matchups for him afterwards for years because he had already beaten everybody.
Right, and that's why like he had a couple of shorter reigns because it's like, okay, well, you have to with Zeus.
Yeah,
didn't work, but who else was ready at that time? Nobody.
No, I can't fault them for doing that. Yeah.
Oh no, it was worth a try. Love Zeus. But also it's like, okay, well, you also had like the Marafu Champion Carnival, right? You had to create someone for him and everything like that. I'm not sure if there's any big outsiders that are going to come and help them right now anytime soon. Maybe 6 months to a year from now, things will be different. I don't know. So it's just like you gotta cut bait on this.
Yeah, I mean, you also have like guys like, for example, I think Ren might be ready to get a Triple Crown shot like by next year.
I think he would be someone that would be a good opponent against Yuma, against Aoyagi.
I think he's a good opponent for both.
Yeah. I would be more confident in the Aoyagi character.
Yeah. No, at
Because
this
I
point,
think
yeah.
Aoyagi is better with the more limit than
Mhm.
Anzai.
Yeah. No, for sure. But yeah, I mean, for now, like I think if they do one more defense and then have him lose to Aoyagi, I think that's still fine. I think it's a little bit longer than I would have done it, but it's not egregious yet.
One other question with in terms of Davy Boy, he's facing June in Sendai.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, June's got to win that match, right? They're not going to have both Saitos lose in Sendai.
Unless it isn't both Saitos losing in Sendai.
Well, I guess we didn't talk about that, but I guess it's not impossible either, is it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it would be very weird to like have Yuma lose, but it could also be Ray that takes the title off of Anzai.
What do you think of that?
I'm not against it. I would hate if it comes at the expense of him beating Yuma, which I don't think he should do yet in a Triple Crown match.
Mhm.
But I'm not against Ray winning in general.
No, I just think I don't know. I give them a little more time before you put the. I think that's a next year.
But they don't
It's
have that
undecided.
much time. You have to remember that they are a bit older.
Yeah, I know. That's why I say do it next year.
Yeah, well, but I think that's like the maximum because I don't think you can put the title on one of them much later than that.
Yeah, but I think you want to just give them to be ready and sort of play out this tag title run.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends as well if they lose the titles too, Sumama and because I don't think they're gonna make Ray like a double champion.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think so either. And given the story of the Champion Carnival, I think it's just I'm fairly confident Anzai win. I wouldn't call Ray winning impossible, but I'm fairly confident that Anzai win. And then I'm less confident, but I still think that Aoyagi will.
Yeah, I do think Aoyagi will beat him.
So I mean that's to me like the main thing. I also like I feel like Aoyagi doesn't beat Anzai. We run the risk of you have dropped the ball on.
Yeah, starting to hurt his credibility at that point because he's been doing a bit too much losing. Like he needs to like that reign was really necessary for him to like really establish him. But you need to.
Yeah, and I don't think you could have
delayed
it any longer either.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got to reassert him back at as one of the top guys in the.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so I think that's it for now. We'll probably be back now. Though, don't expect this another quick turnaround like this.
No, there isn't that much to talk about.
No, so we'll be back in a couple of weeks to talk about some of the stuff that has happened in Noah and All Japan, and DDT. Peter Pan is this weekend.
Oh, yeah, but we talked about that show already.
Right, but we'll review it.
Yes, we will review it when we come back.
Yeah, for sure. So we will see you in a couple of weeks. Take.
My name is Tyler Fornes, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Good, the Bad, and the Hungy AEW podcast here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. We take a broad scope approach to the world of All Elite Wrestling and the entire universe of Tony Khan. We talk about the big matches, the big stars, the promos, the storylines. And we also look at it from a big picture perspective. How are things going to change over the course of the next 10 years with AEW still in the picture? How are companies like WWE going to adapt and adjust to AEW? Are they going to be a similar way like they did with WCW in the late 1990s? Will there be a counterpunch? We talk about all of that and more on The Good, the Bad, and the Hungy every week on the Voice of Wrestling Network.